Hi there YouTube, this is Vargas XX78 with another Vargas Reviews. This time I'm not going to review a movie that I've watched by myself or with my girlfriend. This time I'm going to do a review about a comic book series that I might have mentioned that I was going to do a while ago. This is an experiment that DC did in the form that they wanted to make a prequel to one of their best-selling graphic novel series of all their history. I think only beaten by The Dark Knight Returns. But it's a critically acclaimed graphic novel. It started off as a miniseries, but it's gotten more fame as a graphic novel, the collected edition. And they even made a really faithful and awesome movie based on it. And that is Watchmen. Watchmen is a much beloved story about these characters that some of them are the successors of the Golden Age heroes of this world. A world that has turned their back on the superheroes. Pretty much, what the premise of the story is that they passed the Superhuman Registration Act, and the superheroes either had a choice to reveal themselves or go into hiding, and a lot of them go into hiding. Great story. Great adaptation of a movie, just a really good written and drawn story. And DC decided that they were going to do a series of miniseries set as prequels to the events of Watchmen. A lot of people, when I remember when the news came out, a lot of people weren't happy about this because the original creators, as far as I remember, had nothing to do with any of this. DC basically said that we're going to do this with the characters that we own, and we're going to get top talent on this, and we're going to go with it. And I remember that a lot of people were not happy about this, but the final result is unfortunately a mixed bag in my opinion. This series, the last miniseries, took a while to come out, but it came out a good 2 months ago. But just now I have an opportunity to record this video. So this is Vargas Reviews Before Watchmen. Again, out of all of the miniseries that came out, some are great, some not so much. I'm going to talk about each one of them in the order of how much I liked them. How much I actually enjoyed the concept, the story that they provided, and give my thoughts on each one of the series in that order. The one that I liked the most to the one that I liked the least. The one that I liked the most by far is Minutemen. This is a miniseries that talks about the Golden Age heroes. This is the Night Owl of the Golden Age. And it's drawn and written by Darwin Cook. I apologize to Darwin Cook for my really bad habit of messing up names, but Darwin Cook wrote and drew this miniseries, and it chronicles how the public fell in love with the Golden Age heroes, and unfortunately how the public lost that love for these Golden Age heroes and forced most of them into retirement. A lot of politics get involved, a lot of shady things with some of the members of the Minutemen. Really awesome series. It's written amazingly. It's drawn beautifully. This is issue 1. Issue 2, The Comedian. Issue 3. The covers are really cool to look at. Issue 4, Issue 5 with the Golden Age Silk Spectre, and Issue 6. So again, a really great series, by far my favorite one of these Before Watchmen miniseries. If you have a chance, DC did not take that long. The last issue of Comedian wasn't out yet, and DC already announced that they were going to do a trade paperback or of the first couple of... One trade paperback is going to contain some of these, rightly and very wisely so, they decided they were going to include their less popular miniseries with the more popular ones. For example, one graphic novel volume is going to have this one, and then the other one is going to have another one that I'm going to talk about. So very wisely they split up the Before Watchmen miniseries. So, but if you're able to get the single issues, I would recommend picking up, without a doubt, Minutemen. Really, really good miniseries, and this one actually feels like it's a reason to exist. I mean, in the graphic novel and in the movie, they don't talk about the Golden Age Minutemen that much. So, a chance for someone to actually showcase the events of the original Minutemen, I thought was pretty awesome. So this miniseries, if you want a true prequel to Watchmen, I would pick up this one. It's only six issues, so I don't know how much they're going for right now. I don't know if a lot of people loved Minutemen and the price for the single issues is going high. But if you can buy the trade that includes that one, I would recommend it, since this is, in my opinion, the best Before Watchmen mini that came out. The second best, and I might be alone in this one, but I don't think so, is Night Owl. This showcases the story of the character that took up the mantle of Night Owl after the original one retired. And I like the character of Night Owl because he's like the Batman of the Before Watchmen. He's actually a part of the Batman concept. The other one is Rorschach. Night Owl is the Batman in the sense that he's the tech guy. He's the guy that has all the cool gadgets, but he's a little self-conscious. So this miniseries follows his life before joining and before the events of Watchmen. And the reason why I love this one is because it's written by J. Michael Straczynski, which I know is a writer that a lot of people love and a lot of people hate. I like his work. I know he's a very controversial writer, especially with what he did with Wonder Woman and with Superman. That he had the Superman walk and the change in Wonder Woman, and what he was doing with Spider-Man. So a lot of people don't like his writing. I do. I've liked his writing ever since Babylon 5. So I respect him as a writer. But this one also is drawn by Andy Kubert, and with a collaboration with his father, Joe Kubert. And I was really worried that the last issue of this was not going to be released after Joe Kubert's passing. But it did release, and it's beautiful to look at. The artwork, Andy and Joe Kubert work beautifully together. The artwork is amazing in this book. So just for the artwork, it's worth picking up. It's only a 4-issue series. And I've been a fan of Andy Kubert since Batman vs. Predator, which I still every year make it a point to read, because that I was already into Batman, but that book was amazing. Batman vs. Predator is not only beautiful to look at, but I remember it blew my mind when I saw that Batman was going to fight against a Predator. I thought, like, what? So ever since then, I've been a huge fan of Andy Kubert, and this showcases his art beautifully. So this is issue 1, with a beautiful cover of Night Owl there. This is issue 2, with Night Owl and Rorschach. This is issue 3. And actually, yeah, again, I was worried that it wasn't going to be released, but even though Joe Kubert did not get to ink this one, someone else did, and he did a good job, but this is issue 4. But I still love the artwork by Andy Kubert. I'm pretty sure this last issue must have been really hard for him because he no longer had a chance to work with his dad, but this is my second favorite of the Watchmen miniseries because of the artwork and the fact that Andy Kubert was working with his father. So, yeah. I'm pretty sure that's going to be part of a trade. I don't remember which trade which issues they're going to put on the volume 1. I know Minutemen's going to be one, and I'm pretty sure Night Owl's going to be in the other one, but I don't know which one is going to be which. The third favorite miniseries of the Watchmen experiment is the one dedicated to Rorschach. This is the other part of the Batman character that I was talking about. Night Owl is the tech guy. Rorschach is the grim and gritty character that is a loner. The only person he trusts is Night Owl, and yeah, he's a very complex, a little bit crazy character. It has a very interesting end. If you haven't seen the movie or haven't read Watchmen, don't even watch this video. Don't even read this. Read that first. But yeah, Rorschach, very complicated character. It's written by Brian Azzarello with artwork by Lee Bermejo. And Brian Azzarello, I haven't read that much of 100 Bullets. I liked his run on Batman, and I like what he's doing with Wonder Woman. So I was really looking forward to this because I like the Rorschach character, and he did a good job. This is issue 1. Issue 2, and the covers to the Rorschach books were really cool. This one's not that cool, but it's still interesting. This is issue 3. And lastly, issue 4. I like this one too. So yeah, Rorschach is my third favorite in the Watchmen experiment, as I like to call it, even though it's Before Watchmen. Good story, good look into a very complex character in the Watchmen universe. So I would also recommend that one. This one was good, but it was not as good as those three. This focuses on the all-powerful character in the Watchmen world called Dr. Manhattan. The first issue was not so cool, but it got better as the other issues came out. And this focuses on Dr. Manhattan, how he's losing his humanity, his relationship with the new Silk Spectre, and how that comes into play. And very, very interesting work done by J. Michael Straczynski on this one. A very pulp cover there, which I enjoyed. And one of the iconic scenes in Watchmen is when Dr. Manhattan destroys everything. And then issue 4, which I also really liked this cover. I don't remember who did the covers, but this cover is pretty cool. So yeah, that one was good, but it wasn't as good as the first three. Another one that I thought was going to be better, but it really, at least it ended kind of in a bleh, was The Comedian. The death of the Comedian is the whole thing that sparks Watchmen. Someone kills him, so Rorschach is investigating who killed the Comedian, and that's the thing that sets up the chain of events leading to the end of Watchmen. So this is also written by Brian Azzarello, and it's a good look at the Comedian, but I don't know, it kind of I didn't enjoy it as much. I'm not saying it's badly written, it's not. It's very, very well written. The artwork by J.G. Jones. Again, I'm butchering the pronunciation of that, so I apologize to him as well. But the artwork is pretty cool, and it does focus on the Comedian and mostly on his time with Vietnam. The main thing that they did with him is that they made him a friend to the Kennedys, but then it turns out that he's not so good of a friend to the Kennedys, because he's the one that in this series, he's the one that ends up killing Marilyn Monroe to protect John F. Kennedy, and then he's also the one that kills him. So what? And I thought the book was going to end with his, with him going against Ozymandias, but it doesn't. It just ends with him killing Ted Kennedy. So yeah, that's what I kind of like. Again, it's not badly written. It's not badly drawn. It's beautiful to look at, but I don't know. It kind of, I expected a little bit more, and it kind of disappointed. This is issue 1, issue 2, issue 3, issue 4, issue 5. That's actually a pretty creepy cover. It looks like something out of a horror comic. And issue 6. And this book took a while. This was the last book that released for the Watchmen, the Before Watchmen thing, and this book took forever to come out. I actually thought I missed it for a while because 3 months had passed and the book hadn't come out yet. I don't know why they delayed this one so much, but yeah, this is the other series. Still going down in my favorite miniseries is the Silk Spectre one. And this one is again, it's not that the talent isn't there. This one's also written by Darwin Cook with artwork by Amanda Conner. So it's well written and the artwork is good, but I don't know. I don't know. I didn't like this one as much either. It focuses on Silk Spectre, the daughter of the Golden Age Silk Spectre, who would take up the mantle and start a relationship with Dr. Manhattan. And this series showcases her leaving the Golden Age Silk Spectre's house, trying to cut her own path, and going to San Francisco, where she meets this gang of people that are hypnotizing other people with drugs. So it kind of has a trippy, the whole series has a bunch of trippy images. Again, it's not badly, that's the thing that I respect out of DC, because it was a risky move. People could have hated the hell out of this, and it could have blown up in their faces, but they got good talent, they got good writers, they got good artists, so it was a risky experiment, and again, it's well written, well drawn, but I just didn't like this one as much either. This is issue 1, issue 2, like I said, it has a lot of trippy images, and issue 4. The covers, again, are very trippy. They're not bad, and I just could not get into this particular book. I loved Minuteman, and I wanted to get into this one, and I just couldn't do it. But yeah, it's not bad. It's just, I guess it just wasn't for me. The last one that I didn't enjoy, and again, this is not the fault of the people involved in the book, but I wasn't drawn to it. And the last one is Ozymandias. Again, I might be butchering that pronunciation, but it's a problem I tend to have. But Ozymandias, this is he's kind of like the Magneto character. He does what he does not because he's evil, but because he feels it's the logical and the right thing to do. Ozymandias is not only do I relate him with Magneto, but he's also the genius. Night Owl is the tech guy, but he's like the street level guy. And Ozymandias is the Doctor Doom level tech guy. I mean, he's like a combination of Reed Richards and Doctor Doom, and he thinks ahead of everyone else, and he has a plan, and when the comedian points out that plan is flawed, he's like, you know what, this guy's right. I need to think bigger, and he does think bigger. And this miniseries is written by Len Wein with art by Jay Lee. Maybe that's where I wasn't drawn to this book as much, because I'm not saying that Jay Lee's artwork is bad. It's not, but it's a particular art style that I've never really gotten into. So maybe that's the other reason why Ozymandias is the least favorite one of the Before Watchmen books. Again, it's not the fault of the creators. It's just I didn't gravitate as much to this book. But the covers are still pretty awesome. This is issue 1. Issue 2 is not that cool. But issue 3 has the comedian. Issue 4 is pretty awesome. Issue 5 has inverted Superman. He's taking away his costume persona to be the businessman that he needs to be. And issue 6 has and the point of controversy between the movie and the graphic novel, because in the graphic novel, Ozymandias releases a squid thing that kind of looks like a giant Cthulhu monster, and in the movie, he replicates an explosion based on Dr. Manhattan's energy, so that everyone turns into Dr. Manhattan. Everyone turns on Dr. Manhattan, so that he turns Dr. Manhattan into the villain, and the boogeyman that everyone has to join together and stop. Which, if you really think about it, yeah, that wouldn't work out for humanity, because if the omnipotent Dr. Manhattan did decide that he was upset with humanity and was going to wipe him off the floor, really, what can anyone do to stop Dr. Manhattan? But it's a ploy that he used, and that's the main thing that I remember people were upset about the movie, that it didn't have the giant squid. But I still like the movie. They were really faithful to the graphic novel, but they couldn't be 100% faithful because everyone knew that the giant squid was Ozymandias' plan. So what they did with it was different, and I enjoyed it. I'm not gonna hate on the movie because of that. The last three books that I'm gonna show, I feel DC just got greedy. This was okay. The books that they released were okay. They just got greedy and they wanted more money out of their people. They saw that it was a relatively good success, so they were like, we gotta release 3 more books that have nothing to do with what we originally planned. And they were not planned, but let's get them out. And the first one is Moloch. This is issue 1. There's actually a way better cover to this, but this is the one that I got. And yeah, it focuses on a ex-villain that's part of Ozymandias' plan, in the movie at least, to discredit Dr. Manhattan. And he used to be one of the comedian's old rogues, and he plays a part in the sense that he's the one that tells Rorschach, or he's the one that guides Rorschach into the bigger conspiracy. Honestly, I didn't think that he merited his own book. It's written by J. Michael Straczynski, with artwork by Eduardo Risso, who I think worked on 100 Bullets with Brian Azzarello. So again, it's not that it's badly written or badly drawn, but honestly, this just felt like a money grab by DC. They said that we need 3 more books just because we need 3 more books for the trade, and they released first issue of Moloch, which no reason to be, honestly. And they released issue 2. This cover's actually pretty good. The other cover to this one, it has Moloch with the cards, and it would go something like this. So his bloody hand had some cards falling down, and it would go together with this one, which has the bloody cards and Ozymandias there. So these 2 books showcase how Ozymandias approached Moloch for his grand scheme. So I guess it's good that it complements the story, but is it necessary? Not really. The last book, the one-shot Dollar Bill. Honestly, no. It's written by Len Wein with artwork by Steve Rude. No point. This is by far my least favorite one, and it's only a one-shot. But really, I read it and I was like, what was the point of this? They could not have released this, or really, not that much to talk about. Another thing that I can't show because at the first couple of issues of the main miniseries, they had this backup of the pirate thing that was also intercrossed between in the graphic novel that they didn't even touch upon in the movie, which of course makes total sense. They did release a DVD, an animation comic DVD, but I don't have that. That one, again, they could have left it out. It didn't really impact anything, but which is the reason why they took it out from the movie. So yeah, it's only 2 pages that showcases that, but they stopped that quick. They just did what they could with that one and done, gone. They didn't even continue with that. And I don't have the graphic novel on hand, but I have the movie. So yeah. Am I happy with it? Well, I would have been happier with Before Watchmen if it wasn't so expensive. Each single issue is $3.99. I have a discount, so it cost me $3.19. But this is about 38 books. 38 books billed at, let me make the calculation here. Un momento, por favor. I really should have planned ahead, but it's 38 books multiplied by, let's say, $3.19. Well, no, you have to take into account taxes. Let's say $3.50. That's $133 invested in these single issues. The trade would probably run you about, let's say a high number. Let's say $30. $30 for 2 trades is $60. That's half of the investment that you would have to put into collecting these miniseries, these single issues, if you want the whole miniseries. Honestly, after reading the first issue, I was only going to pick up Minutemen, Night Owl, Rorschach. Wasn't sure about Dr. Manhattan, but I gave it a chance and I liked it. And I wasn't going to pick up Comedian, those one-shots, Ozymandias, and Sil Spectre. But me being an obsessive completist that I am, I had to pick up all of them because I'm weird that way. My brain's kind of wired weirdly that I have to collect the whole set of something, and that's $133 that if you want all of them, you would have to invest for as long as the books came out. For the whole thing to be completed, it took 2 years, about 2 years. So it wasn't that bad. One came out every week. Well, it might have been a year and a half, but one came out every week. So it's a big investment to collect these miniseries. They are, the first couple of books that I mentioned are worth it. You might have enjoyed Ozymandias. You might have enjoyed Sil Spectre. But it is a huge investment, and as far as I know, it did sort of pay off for DC. I know some of the books also got negative reviews. Some of them, like Minutemen, got praises all over the place. So, it is tricky. If you don't want to invest that much money, and if you're not offended by the idea of DC milking the Watchmen franchise with these prequels, I would recommend going for the trade. The thing with the trade, again, is that you're going to get a mixed bag. You're going to get some of the best miniseries coupled up with some of the duds in Volume 1, and the same thing's going to happen with Volume 2. They're going to put in the best miniseries with the remainder of the duds. If you want the complete thing, you're going to have to get both of them. And again, I don't know what the prices go for the single issues right now. Still, if you buy them at cover price, it's $133. I don't know if they're jacking up the prices on some of these books. I have not seen the market price for what the books are going for. So I know it's a huge investment, but is it worth it? For the most part, yes. If you liked Watchmen, if you're a big fan of Watchmen, and you want to know DC's interpretation of what happened before that graphic novel or the movie, it's worth it. Again, you might like some of the ones that I didn't like, but I would say that if you want the complete experience, it would have been better if the original creators were involved, but it is a good handling of what DC was going for. So, if you can't afford the single issues, I would go for the trade. I don't like trades myself. I like single issues. Even though for space and price points, it's better to buy the trades. I just can't do it. It's also convenient to just read the whole thing, I'm pretty sure, but I like single issues. It's what I like. But for you, if you want to read Before Watchmen and you're a fan of the original series, I would go for the trades. It's cheaper, it's more convenient, and again, just be advised that you're going to get some of the duds mixed in with the good ones. In my opinion, the first couple of miniseries that I showcased were the better ones. The other ones are kind of duds for me, but you might enjoy the whole thing together. So, if I had to put a score to the Before Watchmen experiment, I would give it a solid 8. Again, because some of the miniseries, in my opinion, my personal opinion, I might be wrong. This is just me talking about the single issues. Some of them are duds. I would have dropped them if I wasn't so obsessive compulsive. And also the price. $3.99 for these things that came out each week throughout that, let's say, year and a half, is a big investment. Again, it's $133 that a lot of people might not have. I didn't have a girlfriend then, so that's why I went ahead and picked everything up. But the price point and some of the series is the only thing that drops it to an 8. Because it's $133 for something that came out every week, and a lot of people are going to go for that. I enjoyed the series that I liked, that I mentioned here, but there's 3 series at least that I could have dropped, and then those money-grabbing single issues. So that's why it gets an 8. It's a good experiment, and they got good talent. If you're a die-hard Watchmen fan, you probably didn't even pick them up, but I would say at least give Minutemen and Night Owl a chance. And in my opinion, Rorschach. Those 3 ones are by far the best ones, in my opinion. So if you like Watchmen, and even if you don't know anything about Watchmen, you haven't watched the movie, and you haven't read the graphic novel, and again, why wouldn't you? It's one of the best stories in comic books. And pick up those 3. Those 3 are definitely good reads, and they're awesome. So yeah, that's a review of my long promised review of Before Watchmen. Love to talk about comic books, and I actually enjoyed this a lot, even though I'm running for almost half an hour, a little bit over half an hour. So I apologize for the length of the video, but there was a lot to talk about, and I run my tangents and talk about stuff that I wasn't originally going to talk about. But yeah, good series. If for money reason, I'd go with the trades. But thanks so much to anyone that watches this. I enjoyed doing this. This is actually going to motivate me to do some more reviews on comic books. Look back at some of the comic books that I have in the vault, because I actually have some good books that I could talk about. So that's another idea for a video series in the Vargas reviews line of videos. Not just movies. I'm actually getting excited. I might talk about some more comic books. But until then, and until I see you all again, this is Vargas XX78, thanking you and signing out.